And so to explore the idea further, next we have Kevin Draper. And Kevin is a qualified musical therapist and the owner of West Cork Music Therapy.
Thank you. So I like to walk around when I present, so I'm just going to take this. All right, lads, yeah, Stevie did it. So yes, I am a qualified music therapist. I'm here to talk to you about music therapy. It's like an information evening, really, because I'm sure a lot of people here are wondering, what the hell is that? It's the question I get all the time. So I'm going to dig straight into it. I know I got only like 8 minutes-ish. So basically, music therapy is the use of music as the tool to help or to achieve a goal or to help a client. So what does that mean? I want to describe, compare it to another therapy that we're all familiar with, such as physiotherapy. A physiotherapist will use physical methods to help their client. They will move a muscle, they will agitate a muscle, they will use physical knowledge of the body to help their client. So that's their method, that's their tool. A counselor or a psychotherapist is going to use the verbal method. He will talk to his clients or discuss an issue to get to the root of the problem, etc., etc., and they will help their client. So a music therapist can achieve similar goals by using music. So what do I mean by that, using music? It's the musical methods I want to talk about next. A musical method is listening to music. We're all listening to some great music today, and you'll all notice when the Singers Club were singing, we were all experiencing different emotions and things. Listening to music, playing with instruments, writing songs, destroying instruments. I've had kids bash instruments. If that's their way of expressing, then grand, that's the way we'll do it. That's the way we'll do music therapy. So there's so many different methods we can use in our sessions to achieve a goal. So I'm going to get it right now because it's a complex therapy, so I need to get it right in my own head. So we're on the musical methods. Next I want to talk about the clients we work with, because you're probably wondering now, okay, so who can we work with? Kids with autism, adults, intellectual disabilities, dementia, palliative care, rehab, stroke, acquired brain injury. Across Ireland and the world, music therapists are working with all these different people. I'm going to talk in a minute about my own experiences with some of these people, and it'll give you a really good perspective of the actual work that happens on the ground in a session, because I could talk all day, I really could, about this topic, and you probably won't even know what the hell is going on. So basically, I'll get actually straight into what actually happens in a session. So I'm going to talk about music therapy and stroke. It's something I'm really interested in. It's got me so interested that I wrote an article on it, some research, just to find out what's going on, because it's something really, really interesting going on. So I'm going to talk about the brain and stroke like I know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to include any big words because it'll make me sound like I'm really intelligent. I'm really not, because I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for you. I'm going to talk about it really simply. So if there's anybody here who studies the brain or anything, just ignore me for the next minute. I'll make it sound really easy, okay? So and stroke, we know that it'll affect one side of the body. So in a stroke, a common one is the left side. So the left side is damaged, and in the left side of the brain we have the language center. That's damaged, the person loses the ability to speak. Very, very simple. On the right side, I don't know how many people know this, but that's where all the music is. Right side over there. It's very simple, it's not all over there, but it's all over there for this talk, okay? So we got the damaged language center on the left, the music on the right. So bank that for a minute, right? So I've met people, and I've studied them from YouTube, and I've studied them in papers, right? So I've met people who, they had strokes, they're sitting there, and they cannot say anything. They are just mumbling to me, they cannot say the word hello. Then the family ring me, and they go, I've got this loved one here, and they cannot say anything to me, but they can sing a song, word for word, every single lyric of the song, and it's like, what's going on here? Everybody's like, what's going on here? So that's why they ring the music therapist or a speech and language therapist or somebody. They're like, how is this possible if they cannot say hello, but they can sing Adele's Hello, the whole thing? So that just proves, before we do, it's been proven, people have been working on this all around the world, but that just proves straight away to any of us, okay, well, there's something different going on here. They can't talk, but they can sing. So in I come, and what we do is, it's a method I have used in the past, and it's proven effective to actually bring back speech, let's say. It's not a miracle, but it does bring it back a small bit. So what we do is we come in, and they're not able to say hello. So what we do is we sing hello, 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 and they're able to do that. They're able to sing hello back to me, and we keep doing that face to face until they're able to sing hello, hello. And to describe why we're doing that, I'm talking to you now, but singing, the the Singers Club did it perfectly because there was no accompaniment. Singing is just an exaggerated form of speaking. So I'm talking to you now, I'm pausing, there's a bit of rhythm there. In Cork, like, you know, people will, like, I don't have a very strong Cork accent, but you know, like, Cork people, they sing and talk like that. They're nearly singing to you, and Limerick, places I've spent a lot of time in, they're all like singing basically to you. And you can turn speaking into singing very simply by, a lot of people are musicians here, just adding a few little more notes and then singing, and it's very easy to fall back in and out of singing. So, are you following all this, yeah? I tend to waffle. So, like, you just start by singing with someone. It's like, so we'll start singing the word hello, 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 hello. We'll take out all the musical elements and they're actually saying hello, hello, hello. Then I'll ask them to say hello and they'll go hello. And it's done. We've brought back the word hello. The effects aren't very long term. There's a lot, it's very intense therapy, it takes a long time, but it has happened to bring back a certain amount of speech. And you can do that with anything like, how are you, and bring it all back again. So that's just one area of music therapy and stroke. It does, and I've seen this in my own personal life, that it has proven effective in certain ways. A few more examples, because it's best to give examples, I think, of the actual work than talk about it. Someone who's having difficulty with mental health, like a teenager with mental health issues. Not all teenagers want to sit in the comfy chair and talk to a therapist across the room about how are you feeling. Like, that doesn't work for a lot of the kids I know. And I've worked with kids in the past who will write songs about their problems and get into it in a different way. I'm sure a lot of people here might be songwriters. There's something different going on there. It's touching a different part of us. And I have wrote songs, and it's just amazing to see the songs that people write and how they sound, and it's just a different way of expressing how they're feeling. That's another example. The last example I might give is to do with physical. So I talked about the physiotherapist. He will move a muscle to, like say, the person had a stroke, so they've lost the use of their right side, so their right side is not being able to use. So I will do something like, especially with a kid, like the physiotherapist will have exercises like moving blocks and things. Like, it's engaging and it's playful, but what about if we just bashed a load of drums? Like, what the hell is that? Like, or a marimba or a xylophone or any instrument you can think of. Like, that's way more engaging for a kid. And I've done that in the past where just put a kid into a room and let them go mental, and they'll try. If they have to play an instrument with two hands, they'll do it because they want to hear what this thing sounds like. They don't know what it is, but they have to bash it, they have to hit it. And that's another way music therapy can work. I'm going to bring it to a close because I could waffle on and on. But I hope just from a few minutes you actually know what it actually is now. There's not many of us in the country, not many of us around. There's only one course in Limerick at a master's level, so keep a look out for them. You might know somebody you know who could benefit, who just has tried other therapies. It's an alternative therapy, and it's up and coming. Only the last 50, 60 years it's actually existing. So keep a look out, and hopefully now all of you guys know what it is. Thank you very much, guys.